Drink it.
And this is the She Wins Show with your favorite coach Andromeda, coming to you live every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. How y'all doing out there today? If you are in the Atlanta area, I know you are like me and like my special guest were just a moment ago talking about how this weather is definitely more chilly than we would like for it to be. So I hope you are staying warm wherever you are. Turn your heat on and turn your volume up because we have a good conversation today. As you all know, it's Big Talk Tuesday, right? That is what Tuesday is dedicated to for every day here in 2024 because we are talking big. We are speaking life into ourselves. We are not dimming our light. We are speaking our truth and we are walking bold. That means we are walking in our purpose, walking in our power, walking in our authority. We are not going to be afraid of any challenges this year. We are just going to walk fully in what we know God has created us to do and who God has created us to be. So it's a Big Talk Tuesday, y'all. Are y'all ready for today's conversation? You know, I feel like it keeps getting just more and more fire every week. So this week's topic is handling pressure like a boss. Okay, like listen, we hear all the time pressure makes diamonds, right? But how do we handle it when we are under pressure, right? How do we respond when we feel pressure? How do we respond when we start to feel like, oh my gosh, like things are starting to get a little bit heavy, or things are starting to get dark, or things are starting to get uncomfortable? Here's what you need to know first and foremost is that, since this is one thing that I have learned as being an entrepreneur for the last 10 years, is that when things get difficult, when things get dark, when things get uncomfortable, that is when you know that you are rising. You are rising. You are approaching a new level. Okay. Like things are about to get better. You are just so close to another breakthrough. So that is what we're going to talk today about is handling pressure like a boss, right? Because again, we so often break under pressure right before we become that diamond, right before we get to that breakthrough, right before we rise to that next level. And we're not doing that in 2024, right? We find ourselves in difficult situations, when we find ourselves in situations that are stretching us, that are calling for us to be greater, to be smarter, to communicate better, we are going to lean into those situations. We are not going to run from them. We are not going to bow out. We are going to stay strong and remain steadfast. And again, operate in our purpose and do what God created us to do. So, y'all know I always try to get into our national days of the week and such. But before I do that, if you are watching on YouTube or Facebook, hey y'all, hey, what's up, what's up, what's up? If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, then you already see that my special guest is already in the building. Tiffany Nicole Webb is here, y'all. Hey, sis. Hey. How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm good, sis.
I like your pink hair.
Thank you, girl. So listen, y'all, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, definitely you can comment. If you comment live, we will see your comments live. Definitely want to engage with us today because we're giving away 2 more tickets to the Women Are Dope Experience. This event is happening on April 20th, 2024 in Stonecrest, Georgia. It is set to be the highlight of the year. You want to be at the Women Are Dope Experience hosted by Chelsea Speaks. I am honored to say that I am the keynote speaker at this event. So sis, if you are tuned in, you want to make sure that when you are prompted, that you either comment or call in at 678-439-7419 to win your free ticket. This is not a drill. And who doesn't like free things, y'all? Okay, so all you gotta do is engage. Call in 678-439-7419 or comment live on YouTube or Facebook. And while you're listening, go ahead and share this show out to somebody else who may want to listen. Because hey, if you don't win, maybe your sister can win, and you all can go half on a ticket that you got to pay for. Buy one, get one free. That's how I see it, right? So make sure that you're sharing. Now, before I get to the National Day calendar, because I know that you all who are watching on YouTube and Facebook can't see my special guest, I just want to give her a moment to say who she is, introduce herself, because for me, she is definitely the girl to talk to when it comes to talking about handling pressure like a boss. She works in one of the most high pressure, high stress industries in the world, and that is event planning. Okay, if you ever hosted an event in your life, whether it was a wedding, a women empowerment event, a family reunion, you already know the stress is heavy. The pressure is and not fold. So Tiffany, before we get into this conversation, will you please tell the people about who you are and what you do?
Oh, yes. So I'm Tiffany Nicole Webb, and I actually, Andromeda already said, I am an event planner. So I have an event planning business. The name of my company is Unique Occasions by T. Nicole. A lot of people are like, who is Nicole? But Nicole is me. It's my middle name. So I've been running this business. It's an event management and planning company celebrated 10 years last year in 2023. So now we're going into the 11th year. I feel like if you make it to 10 and stable and continue to grow, then you could probably continue to go on if you're still passionate. So I have my business, and we're also some of the other things. I do have a women group, which is We Thrive Women. And that is a group where, since Andromeda said one of the things is trying to, manage pressure, manage being an entrepreneur and being a woman and everything that comes with being a woman. We all have different roles. So We Thrive Women is about motivating or encouraging women to balance more and practice self-care routines. So we've had a women's retreat. We are going to bring back the women's retreat this year. And hopefully maybe Andromeda can be there, be one of our speakers, because this is her whole movement. What She Wins Society is about empowering women and pouring into them and encouraging them in just, balancing everything from mental health to being entrepreneurs to balancing working if you're an entrepreneur and having a full-time job. So that's what We Thrive is about. So that is a little bit about me. And I can continue to go on with some other things as we continue the conversation.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So Pam Dorsey said, hello ladies, event planning can be a beast. Yes, it can. I know firsthand. So like I said, for somebody who does it every day, that's part of your daily life. Like, woo, child, is all I can say, because I host events maybe like once every quarter. And I know after every event and retreat, I am like, let me take some time off. So the fact that you do this consistently, you're dealing with different people and personalities constantly. Yeah, you have to know how to handle pressure, period. So we're definitely going to want to figure out, like, what are the tips? What are you doing when you're not hosting events to keep you in this thing? Because as Pam said, 10 years, happy 10-year anniversary. That's amazing. Like, really, no, like that's, it's not, entrepreneurship is not for the weak. Event planning is not for the weak. The fact that you are doing both together, honey. Okay. Pam said, I know firsthand too, girl. Mercy. Yes. Hashtag mercy. All right, y'all. So I want to share with y'all, as I always do every week, what we're celebrating today in the nation. So today's national day is our National Handwriting Day. Oh my gosh, y'all. I was just talking to my husband not too long ago about the fact that, like, we don't do handwriting anymore.
Oh my goodness, no. They've taken all of that out of the schools. I think I was talking to, I'm probably talking to some friends, or how homemade, how we used when we were in school. I think they started taking out after we probably got to high school.
Right.
But homemade, where we used to do like a lot of like life skills. And that's the things that these kids need now. And it's like, they don't know how to write.
They don't know how to write.
Because they're doing everything on their phone.
Yep.
So sometimes they don't even know how to communicate face to face.
This is true.
So yeah, that's putting more on parents at home to kind of teach them those life skills. So yeah, that's interesting that they have taken that out of school.
It is. Because I even noticed for myself, like I remember when I was in elementary school, middle school, high school, like I don't know if you were like this too, but I really took pride in my handwriting. Like I really wanted to make sure like I had the prettiest handwriting. And so I practiced that thing all the time. And I remember I used to get compliments about my handwriting. Now it looks like chicken shit. I'm not even gonna lie. Like my handwriting is awful.
Right.
And I can't write, like I just can't write like I used to write, I guess because
you're not writing most of the time now, because everything now is done digital on our phones. We're taking notes on our phones now. Yes. We don't even write notes on the notebook. Remember how you used to take notes on the notebook? Remember how you used to have the calendar?
Yes.
You would write everything in the calendar. Because I used to be like that. That's kind of how I got into event planning. I was the person that always wanted to be organized. So even in school, like I had a notebook for every class. I had my calendar, my calendar that I would put everything I had to do. And then but now everything is digital. But yeah, I used to take pride. I used to kind of want my handwriting to be the best. Now I'm left-handed, and so they always say left-handed people don't have the best handwriting, but we are smart.
Okay.
But I tried to make sure I worked on my handwriting the most I could.
Well, apparently you don't even need to worry about it anymore, sis, because the only thing we sometimes need our signature. Nowadays, you could just click a box and initial your initials and call it a day.
That's
like,
so true.
So,
it's crazy. It's kind of good and bad. I don't know how I feel about it.
I'm one of those people who I like technology, but sometimes I be like, y'all going too far.
Right, because I feel like it's dumbing us down.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's good, especially for the younger generation. I just don't feel like
it's a little
it's
scary.
a good thing.
And
it's not going to it's going to continue to evolve because that's what we're in.
Yeah.
Everything is moving into now with AI.
Oh.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little scary. It sometimes I'd be like, okay, Terminator. Did you?
But they talk about
want
this
us about Judgment Day?
right?
Yeah, I know, right?
Right?
All right, I'm doing too much of these machines. Okay, but today is National Handwriting Day, which encourages us to put pen to paper and write out our thoughts, y'all. Speaking of which, if y'all have iPhones, did y'all see the new update where now we got a journal? Did y'all? Okay, well now I have there's a new journal icon on my phone, and I'm just like, I still write in my journal, and I'm gonna keep writing in my journal. I'm not putting my thoughts in my journal.
Right. Yeah, it just
like,
takes the whole. It takes it away.
I'm not doing
it takes
that.
the whole like.
So if y'all saw that, just
serenity
delete it.
away.
Just delete it. Just delete it. Okay. Go get you a journal if you don't have one. Put some pen to paper today and write out your thoughts. I think Erykah Badu said something about like putting something in ink and watching stuff get real, like write it out and making it get real. Listen,
they say write the vision, make it plain.
Write the vision,
and I feel like that
plain.
still applies. I don't care how evolved we get with technology.
Mm-hmm.
When you write that thing down,
mm-hmm.
it comes into fruition.
I agree.
And not write it in your note,
right,
in your phone, the iPhone or whatever phone you have. I'm talking about write it down.
Write it down. Yeah, I agree. Listen, I do that every day. Pam said pen to paper for the win. Yes. Every day. That's part of my daily process is writing in my journal with my pen. Okay. But National Handwriting Day encourages us to put pen to paper and write out our thoughts. According to the Writing Instrument Manufacturers Association, is a chance for us all to re-explore the purity and power of handwriting, you guys. So this is good. While technology speeds up the writing process and makes communication more efficient worldwide, there's something to be said for writing thoughts longhand. Whether it's a journal, notes, or even a letter to someone, the act of writing with pen and paper is a supremely tactile and patient practice. If it does anything, it forces the body and the mind to slow down and resynchronize. I love that. So look around. In mere seconds, letters and words, when we text or email, phones transmit our voices in real time. Once sent or said, those words can't be recalled. Ooh, shoot. That's real.
That is real.
Think about, that's good because that is true. Because we send out a text and it's gone. But like if we had to still write each other letters, like imagine how many times we probably balled it up and be like, nah.
No, that's so true. Those secrets. When it's written out in a notebook, it is unless you throw it away, it's never. It's always there.
Exactly. Because some people are treating their Facebook pages like their diaries these days, and it's there forever. Even if you delete it, somebody just caught it and screenshot it. Had a whole conversation about it. Whatever the case may be.
You gotta be careful what you put on social media.
Exactly.
Because technically, even if you delete it, they still have it archived.
That's true.
Meta.
Listen. Okay, it's somewhere. Somebody read
in the universe somewhere.
Somewhere. Yeah, so Facebook is not your diary. Get your journal. All right. So how do you observe National Handwriting Day? It says whether you're out of practice or execute some beautiful handwriting, share a little handwritten message with us. Here are a few ideas to try. Start a journal. Send a handwritten letter to a friend or family member. I sent out thank you notes to like a ton of people last year. Like I did a whole 30 days of thank yous. And I wrote out handwritten letters. And that was actually a really good time. Write a short story or poem, take a calligraphy class, write a to-do list, leave a love note for someone dear to you, compliment someone with a handwritten sticky note, pay with a check if you dare, leave your server a tip, and handwritten word of thanks for their service. And if you're going to participate, you can use hashtag National Handwriting Day to post on social media. So that's what we're doing today. I definitely encourage this one. And then the other one is National Pie Day. Y'all want to eat some pie? I mean, it's cold outside, so if you want to warm you up a slice of pie, I definitely say go for it. But National Pie Day celebrates one of the nation's favorite desserts. No matter how you slice it, pie in just about any form makes a crowd happy. Fruit pies, berry pies, cream pies, they are mouth-watering servings of homemade goodness. Sis, pumpkin or sweet potato?
No, we don't do pumpkin.
Your response. I love your response.
No offense, but we don't do pumpkin. It's sweet potato pie.
It's
and
always sweet potato.
I make, and I'm shouldn't be saying this because people maybe reach it out to me. I make a great sweet potato pie.
Do you?
Yeah, yeah. That I'm like, that's like one of my specialties. So during the holidays.
All right. I'm going to have to reach out to you after my fast is over. I haven't had no sweets all this month. I might need to tap on your shoulder and sis, can I just come over for some pie, please? All right. That's good. Is that your favorite pie, sweet potato?
Sweet potato pie is one of my favorites, but I also like pecan pie.
Really?
Yeah, pecan pie.
Okay.
Yeah. I like anything with caramel. So, yeah, I'm a caramel person.
Okay, we're going to stop having this conversation.
I know, because when you're not eating sweets, that's not a good conversation to have.
I'm going to go ahead and
I'm
release
doing
this one.
limited sweets. I haven't completely, but I said in February, I'm going to actually probably take sweets completely out.
Yes, you
for,
can do
for
it,
a month.
sis. You can do it.
I know I
I'm
can do
doing
it.
You can do it.
I did limited and it wasn't too hard. So
Yeah.
I know I can do
Yeah.
a month.
Yeah.
I think February's a short month too. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good place to start. Listen, it is. That's good. That's really good. So if y'all want to celebrate today, if y'all want to honor National Pie Day, then y'all go ahead and get you a slice of pie. Make sure that you use the hashtag, which I'm trying to find. They give us a whole bunch of history about pie today. Lord. Okay, just use National Pie Day as your hashtag if you want to have a slice of pie and encourage other people to enjoy a slice of pie as well. All right, y'all. So again, I thank y'all for tuning in with us today. We're about to get into this conversation about handling pressure like a boss. Before I do that, though, let me ask Naya how much time I have before the next break. 1 minute. All right. So before we get too deep into the conversation, because I don't want to get too deep and then we have to break. My question to you, Tiffany, is just don't tell us the whole story. Just give us like a little snippet. What is one of the most stressful events that you've ever hosted? Was it a wedding, a women empowerment event, or was it?
I would say it was a wedding.
Okay.
Okay. Weddings are very beautiful, but they can be very stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually when I first, early on in the beginning of me starting my business or starting in the event industry, I did a destination wedding. And it happened to be my brother's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And now my sister-in-law wedding. I'm in Atlanta. They're in Denver. The wedding was in Orlando.
Okay.
So I'm planning this, we're not in the same state. So I'm planning this. This is kind of like one of my first big weddings. And it was like this. They were like, okay, we know you do events. My brother was like, he was confident. Like, if I'm gonna do a wedding, because he wasn't all big on doing a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
He's not big about like all the crowds and stuff like that. That's just how he is. So he's like, if I'm gonna do it, my sister's gonna do it. My sister-in-law was like, she was okay with that. Me and my sister-in-law had developed a relationship. So she wanted me to be, she had already thought about me being a bridesmaid. And she had already asked me to be a bridesmaid. But she was like, I don't want her to do both because that's a lot. She's already planning this wedding long distance. It's not even in either one of our states. So this is probably her first wedding that she's doing like this. Do I want to put all that pressure on her? Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of pressure. One is family. Mm-hmm. So that's already another thing. Mm-hmm. But the pressure was because I felt like it's my brother. So that's the closest thing, like almost to me getting married. Mm-hmm. And I wanted it to be perfect. Mm-hmm. And then I was a bridesmaid and I was a wedding planner. Ooh. So I would tell you, it went well. It was one of the most beautiful weddings. But the day of that wedding, I did have somebody come in that I worked closely with to be my wedding day manager. So the day of the wedding, I was the bridesmaid. Like I wasn't, I still in the early parts of the morning wanted to, make sure all the vendors were doing what they need to do, make sure everything was, I still was making sure stuff was getting in line, but I still was able to, because that was the biggest thing with my sister-in-law. She said, I want you to at least be able to be a bridesmaid the day of the wedding. So I tried to turn it off, but when you're in an event planner, even if you're at events that you're not planning, even if I go to some events where I'm invited, I can never really completely turn it off. I'm always looking like, I wonder how that could have been a little different. Not to say, that I'm looking for things to be bad, but it's just a natural thing. And so, but I remember when I was about to walk down as the bridesmaid, and all I did was like, it was just like something overcame me, and I just started crying. You would have thought I was getting married, but I was crying, and I think it was all that pressure. Like,
Yeah.
okay, it's finally over because it's about to happen.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And so that was a lot of pressure because it was just one, like I said, everything was done long distance. And it was a very special wedding. And I wanted it to be perfect. And it was, to me, it was perfect. She said she loved it. So she said it couldn't have been any better. And she was like, oh, how did you do that? Like, how did you, like, even to this day, people are like, if they hear about that, because a lot of people don't know that unless they were at that wedding, that I was the planner. And even the family and friends that came to that wedding, they were like, Tiffany, you planned this and you in the wedding and everything just went well. How did that happen? Having the right, one God, one God, keeping my faith, praying about everything, praying over everything. Before any event, I pray personally, and then I pray and make sure everything, pray myself and make sure, that, whatever comes, everything's gonna go well. And as an event planner, we always know we have to have an A, B, C, and D plan.
Okay, before you go into A, B, C, and D, before we go to A, B, C, and D, y'all hold tight. I know y'all was ready. I'm keeping y'all on the edge of y'all seats, so y'all come back after this break. This is She Wins Radio Show, 101 TK Radio. We'll be right back. Hey sis, hey, hey sis, hey, we are back and you are tuned into 101 TKO Radio. This is the She Wins Radio Show with Coach Andromeda, your favorite coach and certified event planner and owner of T Nicole Occasions, Tiffany Nicole Webb. Well, welcome back. Welcome back, sis.
Welcome back.
So listen, y'all, we have been talking about handling high pressure situations. If you are just now tuning in, we have been talking with Tiffany because she has been an event planner for 10 years. Not only has she been an event planner, she has her own women's movement. She has a lot of things. And as we all know, again, as I've shared, if you've ever hosted an event, just handling that by itself can be very, very stressful. So the fact that sis is doing this full time, along with managing all other things in life, she has to know what you have to do on a regular basis to be able to maintain your sanity, to be able to not, be stressed out, to maintain your mental health, all of those things. So right before we went on break, Tiffany was about to share with us what are the most necessary things that you need when it comes to hosting an event. And so, sis, go for it.
So I think what I left off on, because I was talking about, you had asked the question, what was the most, one of the events that I felt like was most stressful or most pressure. And I was talking about how I did a wedding, my brother, sister-in-law wedding, and I was in the wedding, bridesmaid and the full planner. So, and I ended with, once we kind of got to walking down the aisle, once I was about to walk down the aisle after everything was done, the wedding had started, I just became very emotional and started crying because I'm like, wow, it's all done. Like, you did that. Like, it was like, and I remember even the other bridesmaids were like, Tiffany, why are you crying? Everybody's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? You look like you're getting married. And I was just, and I didn't plan to cry. It just happened. And it was because it was like all that pressure had just been released and that it was over. But one of the things I would say is, like, as an event planner, I've learned over the years now going into being an event planner in this industry for 10 years, as an event planner, you always have to have an A, B, C, and D plan. Sometimes you need to continue to go because that's one of the ways that, one thing I do know, and it's continued to happen over the years, is that, yes, event planning is a stressful job. As much as it is fun and it's always, people come to them and they're like, oh, it's so pretty. That seems like that'll be a fun job. You can be creative. You can do all that. But once you actually get into the business and you're really, especially as the planner, and you're over everything. So as the planner, you're not always in the creative space. You're the person that's supposed to make sure everything goes well and everybody's doing what they're supposed to so that the vision or the event is executed fully. And so you have to, like, one of the things, like, and there's been times when I'm like, Lord, I don't know if this is gonna work out the way I plan it, because I can plan it all day long. And that's why I just make sure it's important to have the right people that you're working with. One, it's important to have the right team. Yeah. And I'm thankful that I do have a great team. My team that has been with me, most of my team have been with me for more than 2 years. Wow. And this is not their full-time job, because it's not, events don't happen every day. So most of the time this is their side job, their part-time job. But they, one of the things that I do is I realized, because before I had a business, I did also work in corporate America. So I was an employee. So I used to, and I, as an employee, I was always one that, did my job well, was always kind of in a role of making sure that whatever my job was done, I was doing it effective. And I always wanted to learn more than what my job was, because I'm always about, continue to grow, continue to move beyond where you're at. Right. And so one of the things that I said when I had a team, that I was going to look beyond what they're doing as the job they're doing with me, and see and really zone in on their skill sets. And then whatever within their skill sets that applied to the job, I was going to actually try to make sure whatever they're doing in their role, that if they were passionate about something, or if there's something that they knew they did well, I would try to make sure that I put them in a position in that job to make sure they can thrive in it. Yeah. And I believe that if you treat your people, even the people that work for you, if you treat them, my team has become like a second family.
That's nice.
They're like a second family to
Mhm.
me, you know. And if you treat them like you value them, and then of course reward them for their
Mhm.
work and their hard work, because events is a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
Even as a person that's working as an assistant, the day of the events, we all working hard.
Mhm.
You know, so it's a
Mhm.
lot of behind the scenes that a lot of the people don't see, but we're on our feet all day.
Mhm.
It's a lot. It could be long hours, but I always make sure that I at least pour back into them. And
Yeah.
one thing that I always say to them, regardless of how long they're with me, if there's something else that I can add of value to you,
Mhm.
if there's something else you want to do,
Mhm.
whether you inspire to have be an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
if I can give you some advice, don't hesitate
Oh,
to
that's
ask
good.
me, like, how did you get, or what led you to do this, what was
Mhm.
your experience. So but it's important to have a good team and have good partners, and that's how you can continue to, when all the pressure comes, if you got the right people
Yeah.
on your team when it comes
Yeah.
to that event,
Mhm.
then everything will work out.
Yeah. I would
It may
agree
not
with
be
that.
perfect, but it's gonna work out.
Yeah.
The key is that I always make sure is that even when I'm under pressure, that nobody around me. If I gotta walk away, this is
Mhm.
how I handle the pressure. Because the big thing is, how do you handle the pressure when you're over everybody?
Yeah.
You're the one that's responsible for everything.
Yeah.
So sometimes the pressure comes, and if I have to step away and go to the bathroom and have my woosah moment,
Mhm.
then I do that.
Yeah.
But I don't let my team see that.
Yeah.
I don't let the client see that.
Yeah.
But if I have to take a step back, and you have to be okay with that. Sometimes you might just need to walk away and come back,
Yeah.
because they need to see you strong. How are they going to be able to excel if you're not
Exactly.
your
Yeah,
best self?
I agree. That's
Yeah.
good, because I mean, if you falling apart, if the team leader is falling apart, then that kind of give everybody else permission to fall apart. And considering the fact that your clients are counting on you to, have everything together, they cannot see you falling apart and everybody falling apart. Like, it is pressure, but you gotta hold it together. So you mentioned, you want to take that woosah moment. I know for me, I used to be very much like you. The story, like the story you told in the beginning, like you just kind of hold it all in into the end, and then at the end you might take a deep breath, or it might show up like your tears or whatever it may show up as. However, one thing that I have realized, that I don't want to hold the pressure until the end anymore. I have learned to release as I go. That way I have more capacity to handle what's coming, because we're only human, right?
Exactly.
So have you learned that now too? Like, you might have to
Yeah.
take more moments of
Yeah.
release.
Mhm. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes it may be in the middle of the event, and so, it is important. You're right. It's not. I have learned that over the years, that you can't always just hold it in. You can't. I'm in general, in my personal life, I'm a very private person. So there's a circle that if I'm going through something, that I confide in. When I'm going through tough times or anything, or just going through something, trying to work something out. But yes, I have realized as you grow and mature that it's not good. It's not good, one, for you personally, and it's not good for you just mentally, and it's not good for you health-wise, just to kind of keep holding all that pressure in. So you have to be willing to release, and sometimes those, like in the middle of the event, I may have to go walk away and go right immediately and come back. I'll say, give me a second. I do have some people that, I do have some team leads on my team that I'll be like, okay, you take over right now. I'll be back. Sometimes I don't even say what I'm going to do. I just say, I'll be back. So yes, you have to learn how to navigate it as you grow, because like I said, it could, holding that in is not always good.
Yeah. Because then I feel like it pop out other ways.
It does.
Right? Like you think you holding it together, but really other people, like, she bursting at the seams.
Right.
It's all hell is about to break loose in just 5 seconds.
Come out could be not the best.
Exactly.
If you've been holding it for so long.
Exactly. Or it'll end up coming out on the wrong people.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So yeah, it's important. I've learned that. Like, ooh, child.
That's experience and growth.
Yes, it is.
And maturity.
It is.
Right.
It really
It's trying to
is.
deal this thing called life, right?
It is. I mean, we learn it. I feel like we learn as we go, we learn as we grow. Like, that is just what it is. None of us are going to be perfect. I think, again, we just have to learn, like, I say, know thyself, right? Because I feel like some people can handle pressure more than others, right?
Right.
And I just feel like if you know that you're more sensitive to certain things or more triggered by certain things or whatever the case is, like you say, you know when you need to take that moment and you're not going to apologize for it and you don't even feel like you got to explain it. You're just going to take that moment because you know you're going to be better for it. Your team would be better for it. The event will be better for it. Your clients will be better for it. And so that's just important to just know what you need. Sometimes you need to know you need to go eat because you're irritable because you're hungry.
And that's since you brought that up, that's okay. Getting back into being an event planner, in the nature of my business, what I'm in, that's what I don't do well. And I bet you if you talk to probably other event planners, some may have figured out how to do that. But when we have events, usually it's an all day. It's an 8, 10, 12 hours, depending on the type of event. And so if you don't eat before you start working, I know with me, I'm not going to eat until it's over, which is never good because then all that energy you exert a lot of energy. So then you're very tired. You're dog tired at the end of the day. And that's just not healthy. So I'm thankful that I do have a couple people that work with me and they're always going to say like, do I need to get you? I'm going to get you something. I'm just going, oh, you need to sit down. You need to sit down because I just get zoned in. I get zoned in the event. I'm like, I'm like everything. I'm not sitting down until everything's done. Yeah. So that's something that I know myself, and I'm a person that's been doing this for a long time. Know I have to do better with making sure, even if it's just a little snack, even if it's just something that I do take that time to eat because it's not good when at the end of the event I'm just so tired. Yeah. And that recovery is harder.
Yeah, it is. Right. It is. Maybe you just gotta get you like a little fanny pack. Put you like some crackers. Yeah.
And I had the fanny pack, but that fanny pack got on my nerves, got on my way. I'm like, I just have to be intentional about just making sure I take that time, even if it's a little break to eat.
5 minutes.
Yeah, it's okay because the event will go on. I have a team, and I have to just be okay. Like step away for 5 minutes. It may have to be a quick eat. Yeah. But go get that little snack so that you'll be refueled. Yeah. To be able to be your best self, because the important is that you're able to be your best self.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Ooh, that's good. Listen, I know the struggle because there are days when I'm working so hard that I'll fill my water cup up. It'll be sitting right here on my desk, and I won't touch it to the end of the day. Like, girl, you had every intention to drink this water today, but because I'm just so into the work, trying to get it done, it's like, I don't know. It's like I feel like I don't have time. I just forget to nourish myself. So like I said, I understand the struggle. Like, you just gotta be mindful of yourself because, like we know, like our businesses can't run if we're not well.
Exactly.
With or without a team, they still need your leadership. You know what I mean? So we have to take care of ourselves. The other question I want to ask you is, I'm sure, again, events are high pressure, not just for you as the planner. They're high pressure for people for your clients, those who hire you to help with their events. Even though they say I've hired a planner, a lot of times they're still carrying all of that pressure because they want things to turn out the way they want it to, and they want to know that you understand their vision and that you're going to execute it the way that they see it. How do you handle when people are, 2 questions, how do you handle those who try to like multi-advantage?
Yeah,
you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Micromanage.
Yeah. How do you handle those people?
So, and that's interesting because I have had clients that try to micromanage, and I'm a person that I don't really like micromanaging. even when working for and having a boss, I don't like micromanaging because I'm a very, you give me a task, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it. You give me a deadline, I'm probably gonna knock it out before the deadline. But the way that I handle those, because you talked about this earlier, as an event planner, you have to deal with all types of personalities. And one thing about with the type of clients I have a variety of clients. So I don't just I talked about specifically I talked about one of my most events that was a lot of pressure on me was a wedding, but I do weddings, I do all types of personal events, baby showers.
You help us with the women empowerment.
Right, I do like women's events, community events, corporate events. So each of those type of events is a different type of client.
Mm-hmm.
So usually when I run into the micro on a micromanage, it's interesting. It's gonna go back to the wedding client.
Okay.
It's the brides. It's the, especially if it's their first wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I do is I just talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm the full wedding, when a client or a bride or couple comes to me and they book with us and they retain us as their wedding planner.
Mm-hmm.
That means, most of the time they do that way in advance.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually 6 months to a year in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working with them all that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically make them from the beginning, from
Mm-hmm.
even the first consultation to all the follow-up meetings. So we have monthly meetings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making sure that they know I have your best interest.
Mm-hmm.
Just trust me. And I'm giving them as much information so they know it's, it's going well. But I'm just trying, it's about nourishing that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's about making and reassuring that client
Mm-hmm.
that you got it. You
Mm-hmm.
got their vision,
Mm-hmm.
and they just need to trust that you can execute. And once you, kind of build that rapport and with them, they'll let go.
Yeah.
They'll let go.
Yeah.
They'll let go. It's a way that you have to talk to them.
Okay.
You cannot. One thing I will not do, because at the end of the day, they're still my client, so I'm not going to ever talk to my client in a not a professional way or
Mm-hmm.
not a respectful way. But it's how you talk to them, and just basically as an expert, let them, keep educating them
Mm-hmm.
about the planning
Mm-hmm.
process and what you're doing. The more information and the knowledge you give them, the more they'll pull back.
Mm-hmm.
Because they hired, and I reiterate, you hired me for a reason.
Right.
Because if you could do this on your own, or wanted to do this on your own, which you didn't want to do, nobody wants to play. And this is what I'm gonna just put. This is a disclaimer. This is not to promote anybody, coming to us and picking us to be their wedding planner. But please don't plan your wedding on your own.
Mm-hmm.
It's how are you gonna be the planner and be a bride and really enjoy it?
Right.
And so if you just kind of continue to nourish that relationship, like I said, and just make them, reassure them and educate them, and especially if they're a first time bride, they'll
Mm-hmm.
let go. They'll let go.
Okay. That's good. That's good. I mean, again, you have had to learn how to deal with all kinds of personalities. How do you handle those who are like really high strung? Like, let's just say the event, like you started to plan the event, is happening, but they're letting their own, I guess, nervousness, stress. Have you ever had anybody kind of like project that onto you all?
Yeah, I've probably had a lot of different types of personality. Yes. And so it's the same way with the nervous one.
Mm-hmm.
It's trying to basically, one thing I say as an event planner, I think I've said this before, what I've realized, and I didn't know this getting into this business,
Mm-hmm.
and this was going to be what it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I, have told my mom this several times, because she's one of my people that, my mom is like one of the people that I look up to or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
And I share a lot of things with her. And I said, I didn't realize that when I became an event planner,
Mm-hmm.
that it was going to be, you're an event planner, you're a therapist,
Mm-hmm.
you become like their friend, their family,
Mm-hmm.
their new family member.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so many things. Sometimes I feel like I become their accountant, because I'm trying to help them stay in their budget,
Mm-hmm.
because they do have a budget for a reason. So it's like I feel like I'm doing other things outside of what an event planner is supposed to do. And the reason I said that maybe counselor, the reason I said that therapist thing is because when they get in those emotional spaces where they're high strung, or they're nervous, or they're antsy, or they want to control, it's like, yeah, they have you, but they really ain't trying to take their hand off of it. It's like it all goes back to talking to them.
Yeah.
And just, building that relationship and making sure, like, you really got to become their friend through this process.
Yeah.
You got to become their friend so they can trust you, especially if it's an event of that magnitude. Weddings, and if it's somebody's, conference, their first, like if they have a business and they've been having this, they may have been holding this vision of this conference for years. And been planning it out on their own for years, wrote it out, all that, and then finally having it. So it's like their baby. They're birthing
Mhm.
their baby. And so, and like I said, a bride, this is one of the most important days of their lives.
Right.
So you gotta make them feel special. You
Mhm.
gotta, during that pre-planning process before that event, no matter what personality they're bringing or emotions they're bringing, you gotta always make them feel like at the end of the day, you are special. It's all about what you want in your vision. It's really not even about my vision. I'm just there to execute their vision
Mhm.
and execute it to the point where it's the best, and just
Mhm.
continue to let them know it's about you.
Mhm.
Even if I have to sometimes, because sometimes they got other folks that want to get involved,
Mhm.
and sometimes I have to like just that, more talking to them
Mhm.
through it and say, well, whose day is it? Whose event is it?
Mhm.
And especially if they're not paying for it,
Mhm.
the only person that should matter is you
Mhm.
and what you want of this.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, it is about you.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, that's so good. Look, you almost took me back to my wedding. I know I had to put a few people in check. Like, you ain't writing no checks. Sit down and eat your food. Okay?
and even if somebody is gifting you some amount of money to help with some of the expenses, it's still your day.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. 100%.
it's you and your
agree.
husband to be's day. So it's about what you two want.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. So before we take the next break, I definitely want to ask you, because you just explained that, so you're the event planner, and oftentimes you are also playing all these other roles, right? Being the friend, the counselor. That you have to be able to have a lot of capacity for that, right? Because again, along with just the logistical things, there's a lot of emotional things that you're dealing with as well. And so, girl, just thinking about it, I'm just like, my God, like, it's just a lot. It's a lot. And thinking about being a woman, a human, just all the even different things that you go through personally in your own life. You are more than just an event planner. You have your own stuff going on in your own life, you know? And so thinking about that, like, I definitely want to hear from you when we come back from break. What are some of the things that you do when you're not working that helps you to keep your cup full so that you have the capacity to handle all of the different challenges and pressures and stresses that come with your work? So I'm gonna let you just share with us one thing to keep the people on the edge of their seats, and then we're gonna come back.
I would say this is the one thing I'll share, and then I'll probably expound on it when we come back. Is it's important to have a support system, a good support system.
Okay.
So I would say that's one of my things that I have that helps.
All right.
And so I'll break that down a little bit more.
She gonna break it down when we come back, y'all. This is She Wins Radio Show on 101 TKO Radio. We will be right back. Hey sis, hey, we are back and you are tuned into 101 TKO Radio. This is the She Wins Radio Show with your favorite coach Andromeda and my special guest host today, Tiffany Nicole Webb, owner of T Nicole Occasions. So we've been having a really good conversation today on Big Talk Tuesday about handling pressure like a boss. This applies to you no matter what you do in life, whether you are an event planner like Tiffany, or whether you are a high achieving woman, or whether you just living life, because life is going to come with pressure no matter what you do. Whether you try to run from the pressure or not, listen, you're either going to get the pressure from trying to get more money or trying to grow or try to elevate, or you're going to get to feel the pressure of the fact that you didn't try to do any of those things and life will be whipping your butt. But either way, pressure is going to occur. And so we want to know how to handle pressure in the best way so that it is allowing us to elevate, not be crushed under it, right? And we have seen it, like literally, I mean, it's unfortunate that we've seen it, but we can look out there into the world and see so many different celebrities, right, that we've been rooting them on. And if we want to bring up one person, I would say R. Kelly. My mother-in-law has a very interesting take on R. Kelly. She said he got fame too fast. She felt like he didn't have the right people around him, like Tiffany said. He didn't have the right people around him. He got to fame too fast. He came from nothing. And oftentimes that's what we see, right? People who come from nothing, and then they are thrust into the limelight. They are thrust into being able to have access to anything, anywhere, and a bunch of yes people around them who are going to tell them you can do whatever you want to do. And then all of a sudden you have grown to high heights, but then you are crashing to the ground. And so it's a sad sight to see, because again, either that pressure is going to help you to become your best self, or you are going to be crushed under it. And I know that a lot of us, again, we have these big goals for life. We look out there and we aspire to be like the people we look up to, the people who have, great influence, a lot of followers, a lot of money. And we don't always understand that those people have a great deal of pressure that they're under. And so they must be making sure that they're doing one thing, like Tiffany said, having the right people around you. And as we ended off with, she was saying, making sure that you have a good support system. So I'm going to let Tiffany expound on the support system.
Yeah, so I would say, the support system is having, and it's interesting that you just brought up having, you just like if you become successful too early and you don't know, you kind of don't know that you need to have the right people around you. And sometimes people don't know. You don't know sometimes if you don't know what you don't know. So I think because I didn't just jump into entrepreneurship like without knowing anything. Like I said, I worked for about 10, 15 years before even considering being an entrepreneur. I always say what led me into entrepreneur was God. Entrepreneurship was God. It was God. It was the faith. It was the faith that God put, that this is what you're supposed to do with your life at some point. And it just happened that way. But so by the time I got into entrepreneurship, I knew I already knew that I needed to have a good support system. And when I say support system, sometimes your support system might look different. Everybody may not have, I'm thankful, and I'll just say I'm thankful, and it's a blessing that my family is one of my biggest support systems. And more specifically, my parents are one of my biggest supporters, and from day one, which I know that sometimes is not the case. So, but even still, there's other ways that, it may not be your family, but it may be, I also have other support people outside of family. I have friends, like I have a sister friends that are all entrepreneurs, that we formed this accountability group. And we, when each of us are going through different things on this entrepreneur journey, we confide in each other. And we lean on each other for the support. None of us have the same business. So it's not, and it's never, even if we did, it's never, we all kind of started early in our entrepreneur journey as friends. And we became friends as entrepreneurs. So these were not friends that I was friends with. That's why I say your support system may not be who you think it's going to be. Like it may not be your family, it may not be your best friend from way back when. Because as an entrepreneur, I have friends that I've been friends with for years,
Mhm.
but they don't understand entrepreneurship because they've always worked a
Mhm,
corporate job,
mhm.
and it's nothing against that. But they don't know what it's like to be an entrepreneur. They don't know
Right.
what you deal with as an entrepreneur. It's a
Mhm.
different type of journey,
Mhm.
especially as a full-time entrepreneur, where you don't, where you're not working a full-time job and you're building your business, where you just, and I got into entrepreneurship, not in the beginning working a full-time job. What happened is, at the time I had got let go from the job I was at.
Mhm.
And it was a period in my life where it was like, okay, what are you going to do next?
Mhm.
Like, entrepreneur was always in me. It was
Right.
always something that I knew I wanted to do. But is this the time, like, do you continue to, continue your career path? Or do you, that's something you always wanted, you always want to see about entrepreneurship. So I just started doing the research around what I wanted to do, and event planning was what stuck. But so, and as I continue to, over the years, continue to build a business and continue my entrepreneur journey, even there were times, and I'm gonna be honest, because I'm all about being transparent. There were times when I wanted to quit, because there's days where, in any industry, we have our peak seasons.
Absolutely.
We have times where we are, getting a lot of sales and revenue, and event planning is a very service-based business. It's a service-based business, and it's a labor-intensive business. It's not digital. You have it requires bodies. It requires people. That is a way more hard and strenuous job in business to build than if it's all online.
Absolutely.
And digital. And now we're in the age where everybody is able to do stuff digital. We have coaches, all types of coaches, nothing against that. But we have everybody that can kind of build businesses digitally. But event planning is really, it's never going to be digital.
Right.
Like, you can, as an event planner, start a coaching program and all of that, but it's never going to be digital. It requires, it's a lot of overhead.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you're going to have times where, and it is seasonal.
Yeah.
And like I always say, that even when I'm having discussions with clients, and they're like, well, they want to have this event, and they may have this ideas and even pictures and show me things, but they tell me this is where their budget is. And and sometimes it's like, okay, it's just being real. Like, it costs to have lavish events. It costs to have events. It costs to have events, regardless, whether they're lavish or small or whatever. It costs money. Absolutely. And event planning is a luxury business. It's not a necessity. Right. It's never a necessity for anybody to have an event. Absolutely. It's something they want to do. Absolutely. So I say that all to say that having my group of friends where we're all entrepreneurs, we all kind of started in this, around the same time, but when we may be having our low season, we can kind of lean on each other. That helps. And then, and I would just say you taking time for yourself, like you having time where you pour back into yourself, like you set those opportunities for you to do that self-care. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not always doing. That's something I'm continuing to try to work on, because as an entrepreneur and wearing so many hats, sometimes I feel like I neglect myself personally at times, because I'm always about building the business and continuing. It's like that go. So that grind, it's that grind. But I'm as I get older, I just turned 40 last year, so I'm like, in my 40s. I'm gonna be better in my 40s than I was in my 30s. Yeah. It's a blessing I got to my 40s, and all mostly my 30s I was building this business. So my next 10 years is not, the next 10 years I have is that Tiffany is not gonna be the one that's involved in everything. Yeah. This business it's gonna continue to grow, because I believe in it, and I believe God has the ability to continue to grow it. But now it's about making sure that I'm putting things in place so that the business can carry even whether I'm there or not. Yes, that's goals. That's absolutely goals, because again, like, of course we could work until we die, but because you have worked so hard, I do think that you deserve to have time to pour into yourself, focus on yourself, prioritize yourself, like just live your life and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Like, I think that is absolutely gold. And you just made me think about how, I could definitely think about a time in my life where I
I experienced like a great deal of success. And it happened rapidly. Like it makes me think about when I first started Women by Choice, and I started, on Instagram, sharing like my blog on Instagram, and just kind of just started sharing more of my quotes and stuff like that. And those things just started to take off and go viral, and I got celebrities started to follow me, and Nicki Minaj reposting stuff, and just this rapid attention, right? And what I think about that time is that one, that was like God definitely giving me a glimpse into like all the greatness that He has planned for me. But on the other, it was the fact that I didn't have a bunch of entrepreneurs around me to help guide me in a space that I've never been in before. Mm-hmm. One, two, other people saw my value before I did, which was a dangerous thing, right? Because now people are saying, "Oh, look at your platform and look at your influence and look at all the people that you can reach." I want to latch onto this, and so I started to allow people who weren't really the best people for me around in my space. Mm-hmm. And then three, I definitely can say, like looking back now, being an older, more mature version of myself, like I mishandled. I would say, I'm not gonna say like I mishandled. I think just again being able to be that visible to people who were in like way, high positions to bring greater attention to my platform, because I just didn't know. Like I didn't know what I had. Because the success came so quickly. I'm like 28 years old. I'm a new entrepreneur. It happened so quickly that I didn't know exactly how to handle it. So what ended up happening is that all of that pressure of me trying to now, like it's easy when you're doing something and you feel like nobody's watching. Mm-hmm. But now you feel like, oh my gosh, Nicki Minaj is following my page. What do I post for Nicki Minaj, right? Like, forget about what I was doing. Like, I need to make sure Nicki likes it, type of thing. You know what I mean? I was young. And so it just kind of, it knocked me off track. I lost focus of what my purpose was. It just created a shift. And so I feel like God kind of like removed me out of that space for a minute so that I could get to the place where I realized, okay, like this is what's in you. This was possible for you. But the next time around, you're not going to be so, I guess, naive, reckless. Mm-hmm. You're going to be more intentional, be more mindful about what you're doing. So I can definitely agree. Like pressure, if you don't have the right people around you, if you don't have the right counsel around mm-hmm. you, it will definitely have you wishy-washy all over the place doing stuff that don't make no sense. And so that was one thing I learned. And then the burnout.
Yeah.
Burnout
is real.
That burnout? Yeah. Again, trying to keep up, trying to stay relevant, right. Trying to make sure that, okay, I've done this thing. And before I can even take time to celebrate that I've accomplished this thing, I'm moving on to the next thing that I'm doing. And so, I eventually hit burnout. And I stopped being passionate about what I had even started to do because I was just so exhausted.
And it's interesting that you say, and I think we all have experienced the verge. If anybody's been doing this entrepreneurship thing for more than 5 years, uh-huh. they've experienced that point where they might have felt burnt out.
Burnout hit at 5. Year 5.
Yeah. I would say that too. Uh-huh. Year 5. And so it's interesting. And I'll go, kind of, I don't know, I guess, I feel like everything happens for a reason, and God allowed my journey to be what it was. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting. You said like you had got this big following so quick. You mm-hmm. had got this big influence so quick mm-hmm. when you were newly in the mm-hmm. entrepreneur journey mm-hmm. of this and this women empowerment, kind of industry. Mm-hmm. And when it happened, you were just like, you didn't even at that point believe in yourself and what you had. Like you hadn't, wasn't confident enough in yourself at that time. You were just and so I would say, with me, and I don't know, maybe that God just blessed me. I've always had a lot of self-confidence. Like even when I was a little girl, I'm not gonna say I've been perfect at everything, because no, I've mm-hmm. dealt with insecurity, mm-hmm. but I've always had self-confidence, and I think it all had to do with, I had 2 loving parents that poured into me as a young person and said, at the end of the day, you can be whatever you want to be. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter, because I dealt with things growing up and things that were not, from other people uh-huh. that were not nice and hurtful. Uh-huh. And they would say, you don't need to care about what they say. You are who you are, and you are beautiful, and you're this. And I said, when I have kids, And that happened at a young age. And I think, and that's a blessing because everybody doesn't get that before you even know who you are.
That is true.
Because that stays with you as you become an adult and whatever journey you decide to be. What those words that were poured into you when you were a child, those formative years, carries you as an adult.
True.
You hear that. And so when you get in those places because I have moments where I feel like I'm not as confident, but I go back to that voice. I go back to that voice. And I know like my journey through my entrepreneurship journey has been like steady. The growth has been steady. It wasn't like a blow up. Now, if I would have blew up in the first beginning of years, I probably would have been like you too, like, whoa, what's going on? Because I wasn't ready. Like, nobody, even though I have parents that loved on me, they were never entrepreneurs. Not like this. They don't have no experience with that. And I didn't get those friends that were entrepreneurs until like maybe 3 or 4 years after I've been doing my business by networking.
Right.
Because when I became an entrepreneur, I started networking, and thankful to be in a city like Atlanta. And as Black entrepreneurs, there's a lot of ways you can, even as a new inspiring entrepreneur or in the beginning, you can network, you can connect with other business networking groups with other entrepreneurs. And I really took advantage of that in my beginning years. Like my first 5 years, I was always out there networking and meeting people in my space because I knew I didn't have the friends that were close to me that were on my path. So I knew I had to get some type of some knowledge somewhere.
Yeah. That's good. So, this conversation really just made me also think about the fact that, like you talked about, like the younger people, they have so much more access to things than we did, right? And so we do see them like harnessing the power of this technology and social media. Like in one way, I'm very proud of them because I feel like I talked about on the last show, how they have been able to like experience greater success than a lot of us had at our age because of the power of social media. I mean, you're seeing 20-year-old millionaires, homeowners, they real estate developers, like they are doing their thing, and it's really awesome to see. But also, again, like we've been talking about, there is power in the process and allowing yourself to take the journey. So many people don't like the journey. They want instant gratification. They want instant success. But it's so important to understand. Like that's why I love sharing my testimony whenever I get an opportunity, that there's importance in learning certain things, because again, as you evolve, like they say, different levels, different devils. Right. Each time you climb, even if you think about climbing a mountain, the air gets thinner up there, right? The pressure is heavier the higher you climb up the mountain. And if you don't have the right tools, if you are prepared for that thing, you are not going to make it. You're going to come crumbling right on back down that mountain. Exactly. And so it's so important for us to understand, like, again, don't shy away from the process. Don't look down on humble beginnings. Don't run away from, again, understanding, like, just take the journey, learn as you grow, understand. I love that you said steady progress. To me, steady progress, steady elevation is better than getting something quickly and losing it because you didn't know how to handle it. Right. You know what I mean? Like we hear about all the time, people win the lottery. You a billionaire overnight, but you never took any financial literacy classes. You were struggling to figure out how to pay bills when you had $5. You definitely not going to do it well when you win the lottery, and we see it happen every time. They've got all this money and then it's gone in a year.
You're right. That's so true.
So it's like we have to, again, like take the process, because progress is better, like I said, than shooting for the moon and then crashing to the ground.
No, I definitely agree. Because that's how you can learn. Because you're going to continue to learn. Even now, going into after 10 years, it's still things to learn.
Absolutely,
it's still things to learn. So it's like it's never going to be like I always believe you should never stop wanting to learn.
Absolutely.
Even if you've made it, so-called made it in your field, and you kind of may feel like you kind of got where you want to be. You can always learn.
Yeah, I agree.
And be better. Yeah.
I agree.
And it doesn't matter, like, who you can learn from people. You talked about like the younger people now able to become successful quicker because of the access they have through like media. They can become, millionaires and at 21, depending on what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so, because of all the access to the things that they have, you can also learn from them.
Absolutely.
You can learn. So it doesn't matter the age. It doesn't matter who. You can always, You can always learn something from somebody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shoot, if I'm being honest, every time I have a guest on She Wins Radio, I'm learning something. I'm walking away from this show with some new knowledge,
Yeah.
some new inspiration,
Right.
some little nugget
Right.
that was like, oh yeah, sis said that. Like that's gonna stick with me for the rest of my
Mhm.
life.
Mhm.
Like every single time. Also, if we could talk about one of our sisters, our elderly sisters, who is definitely doing that thing. For me, Oprah's that girl. Like Oprah is a billionaire, but she's always learning from people. Like her Super Soul Sundays and stuff like that. Like, I don't think Oprah's just doing that to entertain us. I think she's doing that so that she can learn more about other people's experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Like her success has come from her connecting with people, listening to other people tell their stories. Like, there's a great deal of knowledge that we gain from talking to people.
Oh, right. You're right. Exactly. Conversation is key to learning. Having like the like these type of shows, like your show, being able to, like you said, you learn something from all the women that you select to come on your show. Having these type of conversations, these type of dialogues, this is how you continue to grow and learn and evolve.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen. She Wins Radio is definitely for the people, but there's a little selfish part of me that is here for me too, y'all. When I pick these topics and my guests, I'm definitely thinking, what am I going to learn from Tiffany today about handling high pressure situations? Boom. All right, y'all. So we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back. This is She Wins Radio on 101 TKO Radio. Hey sis, hey sis, hey, we are back. This is She Wins Radio Show with your favorite coach Andromeda on 101 TKO Radio. And we are having an awesome, amazing, empowering discussion today with Tiffany Nicole Webb, who is the owner of T Nicole Occasions, a full service event planning company who is servicing all of Atlanta and so everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Everywhere. Okay. So listen, if you need some event planning services, definitely reach out to T Nicole Occasions. I can say that she has helped She Wins Society to host events in the past, always professional, always executing with excellence. I've also seen some of the other events that she has hosted, and she does what needs to be done. Okay, she gives what's supposed to be gave. So definitely reach out to T Nicole Occasions. How can they reach out to you, sis?
So you can, and right now I'm on live. So if anybody's on Instagram, you can reach out to me on Instagram, T Nicole Occasions.
Okay.
Also, that is my Unique Occasions by T Nicole event planning page. Also, you can also reach out on our We Thrive Women page, which is We Thrive Women on IG. And you can also connect with us on Facebook. Facebook is Unique Occasions by T Nicole. We also have a website. You can look up www.uniqueoccasionsbytnicole.com. You can Google us. You can always go that way. And and we're on Twitter. I think it's T Nicole Occasions. So it's on all our social media platforms.
Okay. All right. Y'all better connect, because one thing we do know is that events don't ever stop. They don't ever stop. And I have come to a place in my life for sure where I fully am not trying to do all things. Like, I don't mind delegating. I don't mind asking for help. And definitely when it comes to events, hey y'all, definitely when it comes to events, you definitely want to make sure that you are getting some help, because it's a lot to do. It's a lot to carry. Before we also get back into our conversation, I want to give away a ticket to the Women Are Dope experience. I know y'all are watching live on Facebook and YouTube. I know that you all are listening live at 101 TKO Radio and the 101 TKO Radio app. So listen, the Women Are Dope experience is happening on April 20th, 2024. This event is happening in Stonecrest, Georgia, which is right outside of Atlanta. So if you are going to be in the Atlanta area on April 20th, or you want to travel to Atlanta, because Atlanta is always a good time, right? Then definitely you have time to do that. You have time to prepare. It's January. This event is happening in April. Plenty of time to prepare to get here and experience the Women Are Dope experience. This event is being hosted by Chelsea Speaks. There is an awesome panel of speakers. Some women I know, some women I don't, but I'm excited to meet. Also, there's going to be an award show of women who are going to be honored on this day, which is very awesome as well. And I'm honored to be the keynote speaker for this event. So, I mean,
go sis, go.
Thank you.
That's something to be excited.
I am excited about. Yes.
You're honored and you're the keynote speaker.
No, I'm not. Now, I'm not one of the honorees.
Okay.
I am honored to be the keynote speaker.
Well, that's even better.
It is. No, it is. I'm excited about it, y'all. Y'all know I got plenty to say. The theme is the vision won't wait. And this whole year, I told you, God gave me big talk, bold moves. So when Chelsea told me the thing was the vision won't wait, I'm like, yeah, I got a lot to say. And anybody who was present in that event, you are not going to leave the same. Like, you are going to get very clear that the vision will not wait. And you're going to be more confident to get out here in life and start using your gifts, pursuing your purpose, and just being all of who God created you to be, and all of your glory and your magic. Okay. So I want y'all to be in the building. I want you to be there. And I'm giving away a free ticket right now, right in this moment. So if you are listening live or if you're watching live, I want you to either call in at 678-439-7419 to tell me that you want to win a ticket, or I want you to comment live and tell me that you want to win a ticket. Say, I want to be there, Andromeda. I want to be in the room. Okay. Say something that let me know that you want to be there on Facebook or on YouTube if you're watching live, or you can call in at 678-439-7419. All right. So I'll be waiting to hear from you. I'll be waiting for the phone lines to light up, or for me to see your comment on Facebook or YouTube. And here's the thing. If you're not going to be in Atlanta, if you have something going on that day, you better share it with one of your sisters. I know you know somebody who's in or around Atlanta who want to come to Atlanta. Sharing is caring. Okay. So just because you can't make it doesn't mean that you should not share this with somebody who might be able to attend a free ticket to the Women Are Dope experience. All right. So while I'm waiting for your call to come in, 678-439-7419, or your comment to pop up, I am going to keep this conversation going with Tiffany Nicole. So Tiffany, we're talking about handling high pressure situations. And so I pulled up this this article that says one of the ways to, or some of the ways rather, to handle high stress situations is to, one, understand. That was the first thing that came up. Come on now. I'm trying to bring it up. Okay, step one is understanding. The first step is knowing the biology behind these reactions and accepting that being at level 1, 2, or 3 is normal. Knowing where you are on the hierarchy gives you choice and the power to shift. I think you agree with that.
Yeah.
That's when you say that's when you know I need to walk away.
Yeah,
because I understand.
Yeah, that's one of the things I have to walk away.
Yes. And then 2, it says awareness. When you feel challenged, notice the physical and emotional cues that signal you're experiencing anxiety. You feel a knot in your stomach or your heart racing. What are some of your cues?
So I felt both of those. Okay. So I would say my cues are, I've had the knot in my stomach, and I felt, what was the first one?
Knot in your stomach or heart racing?
Heart racing. I felt that too.
Yeah.
And so when I get those moments, we talking about being under pressure or, especially during an event, that's when I know, okay, go take a break. Time to go take a break.
Yeah.
Just time to go take a break and come back.
Yeah. That's good. I have literally felt my body stretching. Like it felt like my body was under pressure. Like I've literally felt that feeling before. And
it's not a fun feeling.
It's not a fun feeling. And I know that, like, there's been one time I felt like that and I kept going and I was about to pass out. Like I literally lost my vision for a second. Like I had like a blackout and couldn't see.
Yeah. I haven't had that moment, but I've had like blurry vision.
Yeah.
So and that's when I know I'm stressed, under a lot of stress. Is that if I start seeing black dots.
Ooh, yeah.
Have you had that?
Yep.
And I was like, ooh.
The black dots became for the full blackout.
Yeah. Black dots. That's why it's important to, it goes back to, back to like it's like important to, have your break, have a little snack, have some water, and all of that. Yeah.
And one of the other things is my body get real hot. I start sweating when that's from the inside.
Oh yeah. That's your pressure going up.
Oh yeah.
Your blood pressure going up. Yeah. When you're under stress, your body gets a little blood pressure. Yeah. Blood pressure going up.
It's real. Like when they say stress kills, I believe that.
Stress does kill.
It will kill you.
Well, stress leads to and you have to like, and it's crazy because when I got into event planning, I did not know that. I learned that maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Remember, 3 or 4 years after being an event planner, not years ago. That event planner, like if you look up the highest stressful jobs, I think event planning is like number 4 or 5.
Oh yeah.
And I think above it is maybe like police officer, firefighter, doctor. And I'm like, we up there with the doctors and the people that are supposed to protect the people in the communities, because that's your firefighters and your police. Yeah. I'm like, Lord, what did I get myself into? But then I realized, it's very stressful. Yeah, it's very stressful. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that when I first started. I didn't know it was gonna be so stressful.
Girl, listen, I keep saying I've hosted events, right? And to me, hosting events, like, people have asked me to help them with their events before, and I have, but it's a different level of stress when it's somebody else's event.
Oh yeah,
it just is. The stress level goes up because, especially if you're a person who wants to give the people what they're asking for, right? Like you hold all this responsibility to making sure that the outcome matches the vision they had, or it's better than the vision they had.
The goal is to make sure it's better than the vision they had.
Exactly.
Because they actually are trusting you and they have paid you to do it better than they would do it. Yeah, that's the whole point of coming to an expert, is that you'll do it better than they would do it.
Yeah. And
to take the pressure off of them.
Right.
And
it's just a lot on the line. Right, because like, again, there's so many things in event planning that can happen that are outside of your control,
Exactly.
right? And then the other thing is that people, again, when they trust you to host their event, they're also trusting you with their reputation.
Exactly.
Like, they're trusting you with their family members' lives.
Exactly.
You know, like, it's just so many
Many
things.
things. And I, like I said, it's a journey. It's been a journey since I've been in it, and the things that I've learned just being an event planner that I didn't know before I got into it. One of the things that I do, and this is what I tell anybody before they get into any type of business or start business, is because this is what I did first. And I knew even when I was a novice as an entrepreneur, like a novice, a really not experienced entrepreneur, I knew that I needed to at least have some time where I worked with somebody that was doing it for a while, like a mentor or someone that I could just kind of assist. So when I first got into when I first decided I was going to have an event planning business, my church at the time had a big wedding ministry. And so I was like, oh, well, let me, because they were actually looking for people to serve in the wedding ministry. So I was like, oh, let me join, because this is in the time I was thinking about, I was in the process of, going to start my business. And so I said, let me serve on the wedding ministry. Let me go and serve. And did I know that, like, because it was a big wedding ministry, that they had weddings, like almost 3 or 4 weddings a month. Wow. And, most of the time, if you serve, if you're available, you could come and work the weddings. And it was full day of the wedding, like the whole behind the scenes. It wasn't you just showed up when the guests came. Like, you came, you set up, you helped decorate, you helped do all of that. And then you assisted the wedding coordinator or wedding planner that was at the time running that ministry in that department. And she became like an early on mentor to me. And that's when I realized then, because that's when I realized then, because I knew I was going to have an event. I knew I wanted to plan events, but I wasn't sure, like, kind of in the beginning what I was going to focus on, because it was so much. It was so, when I started doing research, there was so much that came with event planning. So I was like, ooh. So I realized that I didn't want to just do weddings. And the reason I didn't want to just do weddings, because I'm like, as a new person coming into, that's a lot of responsibility. Like, you talk about, you're this is some of the people's most important day of their life. Like, and that's all in your hands. And I saw a lot of behind the scenes. So I was like, okay, let me slightly get into weddings.
Right.
Let me start with these small events, let me slowly get into weddings. And so, that's when I realized, okay, that wasn't something that I knew I wanted just to do only weddings. Right. Some people have that gift and they can just, because like I said, I bet you ask any event planner, they may tell you weddings is probably the most, no matter if it's big or small, is one of the most high intense pressure events that they do.
I would imagine.
On the regular.
I would imagine. Oh, I would imagine.
Even if they do other events, they'll say that's still one of the high pressured events.
I would imagine. Oh, and again, because I just think that with weddings, there's just so much more at stake just for the people who are getting married, right? So I just feel like, I can imagine how that passes on to you as the planner. Like, that's the day where people are like, it gotta be perfect.
And they want it perfect.
Especially
the bride. They want it perfect. They want their day to be, it's like their day to be so perfect. And you are responsible for that.
You are responsible.
And if anything goes wrong, even if it wasn't your fault, like you said earlier, some things in event planning, that's what you have to learn in event planning. Because there's so many moving parts, there's so many people that's involved, there's all these different vendors. And even though these vendors may be good, like if you have I was just say like a caterer, they may be very good at what they do. You still have to trust that they're gonna execute. And sometimes you gotta trust that they gonna show up on time. They gonna do it. Every and you are, because you're the planner. If something goes wrong with any of those vendors, even though it may have been a contract with that vendor, you still are responsible for managing the outcome. And if something go wrong, they're gonna look at you. And how are you gonna fix it?
That's it. Period. That's it.
So I've on my journey, that's how I've had to learn all things about all types of event services. Because if I have to do something, I need to know what
you gotta have a plan.
Where I need to step in.
So
like I've learned how to serve food.
Yes.
Because if they short those servers
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any extra staff. You know, you got to learn how to do that.
Yes. And I know that's a lot on you, but we stand a woman who or a planner, or any person, again, a professional who is not going to stand there staring in your face telling like this is what's happening.
No, you
Like,
can't.
just go do it. Can you just
go do
fix
it.
it?
I have stepped in and, you know, like I'm not, you know, I know my sweet spot is the planning and the managing.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been my sweet spot. I can be creative, but that's not my sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the decorating, the
Mm-hmm.
the centerpieces
Mm-hmm.
and doing all of that. I can do it, but that's not like my
You
eye.
can do it.
But that's not my eye. And so, luckily over the years, I've partnered with a creative director who's actually, you know, been doing
Mm-hmm.
floral designs and balloon designs and all of that for years. I partnered with her early on when I started the business, but I realized even having a partner, a vendor partner like that can come in and do that part. But you also, I knew that I still need to learn some part of that.
Yeah.
Like I needed to learn how to make a centerpiece with
Yeah.
flowers. Because
Yeah.
one day you may have to you never know. You
never
may have
know.
to make that flower centerpiece because
That's
they
true.
may be short ones. They may have forgot a centerpiece. They forgot to tell you they had this many, or they had extra people. So you got to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And one thing that I do with my team is I cross train them.
Mm-hmm.
Like even though they may have a designated role, all my team knows how to set a table.
Yeah.
They know how to set a table, and some of them know how to even do like little things with centerpieces.
Yeah,
because they may need to step in and do it.
You got to be quick on your feet when it comes to events. I know that. I think about one of the last events I hosted last year where I had spent one whole day putting together my centerpieces, ordered special vases, put together all the little pampas flowers, like all of the whole thing for my centerpieces. And my wonderful husband, I love him so much. He came with pulling the cart in to the whole box hit the floor, crashed, faces broken. This is like 30 to 45 minutes before the event. So I didn't have time to cry about it.
No, you couldn't.
You know, I probably said a couple of cuss words and it was just like, okay, how do I fix this? How do I get some replacement vases? You know what I mean? Like I can still get the flowers together, but the vases are gone. But yeah, you have to think on your feet. You don't have time to stand there and cry. Let's build.
No, you
just gotta figure it out.
There's always gonna be something to break.
Come on.
I've
never hosted an event where
we've had so many things
100% of everything went exactly the way you expected.
It's always gonna be something to break.
Something.
Especially a vase. That's why I've learned to have multiples.
Multiples. Yeah. Multiples. Yeah, exactly. You gotta stay ready. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. This has been so good, y'all. I have enjoyed this conversation. I don't know, do we have any comments come up, Naya, about the free ticket? Okay, so all right. Well, we're gonna try again next time. If by chance you are listening to the replay, how about that? If you're listening to the replay of today's show and you are interested in winning a free ticket to the Women Are Dope Experience, send me an email at hi@shewinsociety.com and let me know that you are going to be in Atlanta on April 20th and you want to attend the Women Are Dope Experience, okay? If y'all are asleep over there, I need y'all to wake up and win, all right? We got an amazing week ahead, an amazing year ahead. Listen, when invitations show up at your door, stay open and ready to accept them, okay? Because you just never know who you might meet. You never know what God has waiting for you in the places where you are hesitant to show up to and the invitations that you are hesitant to accept. One thing I have learned, especially this year, is that I started this year feeling extremely terrified about bringing new members onto my team, and these women have ended up being an answer to my prayers, okay? Like they have just been a breath of fresh air and exactly what I needed to keep moving with She Wins Society. So, like I said, you have to feel the fear and do it anyway because you never know what God has for you on the other side of that fear. All right, so this has been a good conversation. Again, you all know how to contact Tiffany Nicole at Unique Occasions by T. Nicole. The website is uniqueoccasionsbytnicole.com. Okay, make sure you visit it. If you need assistance with your next event, and I know that you do need assistance whether you think you do or not, so make sure that you reach out to Tiffany. Also, some other business that I definitely want to share with you before we go is that membership is open at shewinsociety.com. We have 3 levels of membership: our community membership, our brand moves membership, and our community membership that also includes coaching with myself at Coach Andromeda. And so if you are trying to elevate in life and business, if you are trying to surround yourself with other supportive women who are going to encourage you, actually, Tiffany is a member of She Wins Society. Okay, so there is a wealth of opportunities for you to collaborate with other women, wealth of platforms and opportunities for you to elevate in business. We have so many different classes that we are teaching. Actually, there's a class that we are having in our community today called Think Like a Boss, Time Management Done Right by our sis, Jay Reynolds. And so this is a class that you can be a part of, that you can take to learn how to optimize time for your business success and functionality. Also, she's going to cover systems for automation, time strategy, and the benefits of time blocking and more. So again, lots of opportunities for you to learn, to grow, to win, to build relationships with other women. Y'all know I always say, when women support women, we all win. Connections are our greatest currency. And so listen, don't be out here trying to do 2024 by yourself. Tiffany has said twice, you need a strong team and a strong support system. So if you don't have that, I need you to start getting to looking for it, okay? Also, the Relax, Relate, Release Retreat is coming up, y'all. The 7th annual Relax, Relate, Release Retreat is happening this year. August 16th through the 19th, we are sailing from Miami, Florida to Nassau and Coco Cay, Bahamas. This year's theme, you guessed it, Big Talk, Bold Moves. Our conference is going to be all around helping you to walk more confidently in your authenticity, walk more confidently in your purpose, walk more confidently in your gifts so that you can make the impact that God intended you to make in this world. Each and every one of us has a purpose. Each and every one of us is meant to do something in this world to positively impact the life of others. That's what we are here to do. And so I want you to help you through the She Wins Society 7th annual Relax, Release Retreat, Big Talk, Big Bold Moves Conference. I want to help you to, again, be more confident in yourself, more confident in your purpose, more strong in your faith, so that you can really walk boldly, talk big, and absolutely win bigger in your life, in your business, and in your career this year. All right? So if you would like to learn more about the 7th annual Relax, Release Retreat or the She Wins Society membership community, go to shewinsociety.com. And again, if you want to win a ticket to the Women Are Dope experience, send me an email at hi@shewinsociety.com. All right, y'all. This has been an amazing time as usual. Again, make sure that you tune in with me every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. I can tell you that my next special guest is really amazing. You want to tune in for her as well. The conversation just keeps getting better if you ask me. The guests just keep getting better if you ask me. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you, sis. All right. So, y'all, until next time, y'all keep growing, y'all keep glowing, y'all keep winning. Talk to you later.